My goodness, happy Wednesday to you.
Good morning.
We can't get a morning where everything just goes perfect because there's so many things in play. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know where you're going. I can't wait to hear what's been
Well,
in
no,
play.
we had this, it was muted when we started.
That's your fault.
Why is it my fault?
Because you didn't turn it off mute.
So, good morning, Leslie. How are you today? This morning was very interesting because, I don't know if you guys know, but I use rubbing alcohol as deodorant now. And rubbing alcohol looks like other liquids if you have it in the same container. My wife,
coconut oil?
My wife uses coconut oil, lips, hands, everything, and where we work, very dry. So she's like, I'm going to put coconut oil in exactly the same thing that you use.
It had a different color, to be honest.
Yeah, the exact same thing that you use
the lid was
your deodorant
color.
for. No, but I've got multiple things for deodorant. So this
morning,
morning
Glenda.
I poured in, looks the same, rolls around your hand just the same. Then I put it on and I'm like, this feels different.
Coconut oil in your hand, you should have known. Like, don't you blame me that you put it on your pits. But it's an antibacterial, so it would be good anyways. Your nose is peeling. You need to put some coconut oil on your nose. You should have done that instead of your armpits.
Yes.
So good morning, Jen. Good morning, Glenda.
A little late.
Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Helen.
Hello.
Good morning. We said good morning to Leslie. Hi, we're here. We are home. We had a fantastic week with Glenn and Tanya in Guanajuato. That town, it's stunning. It's beautiful during the day. It's beautiful at night. They keep it clean. There is too much graffiti, but not as much as even here. But it bothers me that people will take these beautiful old, like hundreds and hundreds of year old walls and draw on them just to be,
a drug dealer. Just to be a drug dealer. So, it is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It is very European. Every corner is a painting or a photo. It's just absolutely amazing. Yeah. There's streets we walk down 15, 20 times.
And every time we looked, there was something new to look at.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing town. If you've never been to Guanajuato, you really need to go.
Yeah.
Right in the centro. There's about 200,000 people in there. It's not a big town.
Yeah.
There's
some really, good morning, Pat. There's some really nice hotels, like kind of on the outskirts, but do remember that everything in Guanajuato is uphill.
Everything. And it doesn't matter if you go down, you're still going up.
You have to go up.
If you go up, you'll still go up. If you're going down, you'll still go up. It's just everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, last week I had over 100,000 steps.
For the month.
For the week.
For the week. That's right. It's weekly. Yeah.
Now, not as many as Glenn. Glenn gets 25 to 30,000 steps a day. He doesn't have a membership at the gym. Doesn't need a membership at the gym.
He has quite a walk to go get their car because they're on what's called a callejon, and they're basically paths. They're paved. There's lots of stairs. There's some that are just like ramps. Definitely not wheelchair accessible.
Yeah. There would be can you imagine somebody who needed a wheelchair in that area?
They'd have
Immediately they have to move.
They'd have to move, yeah.
Wow.
Morning, Michelle. The pictures, John took some fantastic pictures of Guanajuato.
Michelle, how's your leg doing?
Yeah.
We hear you got a couple cracks and stuff in
Pins, screws.
Yeah. You got a screw in there. That's crazy, man.
But now we can't say that Pastor Michelle has a screw loose anymore because they tightened them.
They tightened the screws for your legs. Because that's how they hold your legs together.
So good morning, Karen from across the pond.
Hello. So what can we tell these fine folks about Guanajuato? It's just a stunning, amazing, beautiful place.
And where Glenn and Tanya live is up a callejon, about halfway, and the views of which, and we did a couple coffee times from their patio, a few beautiful, not sunsets, but like late afternoon photos where the sun starts to shine on all the colored buildings.
So just to give you an idea of the temperature difference, because it is cold there.
Yes.
It is cold. And in January, it can get down to 7 degrees. In Bucerias, we've been down to 8 degrees, one, maybe 2 days in 19
Yeah.
years. So it's a much cooler place.
Glenda's asking if we stayed with Glenn and Tanya or at a hotel. We stayed with Glenn and Tanya. We were teasing them a lot, and Monday on coffee time, I told anybody if they wanted to experience Glenn and Tanya's hospitality, just to hit me up, and I'd give you their contact information. That was a joke. Glenn and Tanya did think it was funny, but they got a little scared. So,
And Leslie, is real estate reasonable there? That's a great question. I don't think it
I
is
don't
right
know.
now. But at the same time, would you rather live in a place like Canada where they can steal your bank accounts, steal your freedoms, or would you rather be warm?
Yeah. One of the nice things about Guanajuato, so and I kept saying it was an 8-hour drive. It's only a 6-hour drive. So to me, that's very doable. To me, that's very doable.
Yeah, and
So they're close to everything. They're only a few hours from Mexico City. They're only a couple hours from Guadalajara. I mean, San Miguel de Allende, Leon. There's so many towns that are a quick drive.
if I was to put a number on it, I'd say you're going to save 30 to 50% versus there. And is it worth it? That's up to the individual.
But we didn't see a lot of real estate.
No,
for sale.
there's not a lot, and I think that's going to be a
hard.
problem. They don't have an MLS.
They don't
there.
have an MLS.
They don't have broker agreements there.
No, it's kind of a crazy kind of definitely
Opportunities.
Yeah. And definitely the Wild West as far as real estate. So as a foreigner, I would highly recommend you ask John and I to accompany you to Guanajuato so we can help you.
Yeah, it is. It is a beautiful place. It is a crazy place, but oh my God, it's so beautiful and stunning. It is. It's like Europe. Never been to Europe, but we've had many of our friends say that, oh my gosh, that looks like Italy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it truly is a magical place and so many callejons. And the reason for that was it was a mining place. So the miners, they had their actual area was La Presa, La Presa, which is like the dam. It's the dam area.
Yeah.
And that area is...
A presa is a dam. Yeah. Like that is the name for dam in Spanish.
It's the dam area, and it is a beautiful area. You've got properties there still under $1 million. If they were here...
That one that we called about with the 8 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, 500 square meters of construction, that actually for 1.7 million pesos or 17 million pesos seemed like a really good deal.
17 million is like $850,000.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, but there you got a garage. You're actually attached to a place that you can park. It's not like the callejons where you gotta figure out where you're gonna park.
And our friends did buy there, but they had another agent that referred them to someone because they have an agent that they've used here for years. The family have used this same company for years. So we are purely friends. We have never been in a client relationship with them.
No. Leslie says, did your friends buy there?
Yeah, that's what I was just responding to. And then Kira,
we didn't
good
go
morning.
with them. We would now. We know the area. We know the issues there.
The biggest thing though is it would actually have to be Shirley because Spanish, right? Yeah. There's not a lot of people. There was very little English spoken actually that I noticed. I mean, I'm sure there was, but we had Tanya, and of course she's a little Mexicana, so she speaks fluent Spanish, obviously.
A ton of Asians and a ton of Asian Mexicans. So it's cool. It's cool to see an area that is so fascinatingly different. Mm-hmm. And even Asian writing on signs, etc.
And Leon, their Bienvenidos sign, welcome to Leon, it had Asian writing underneath it. We're assuming it's Japanese.
Leon was a big surprise because Leon is flat. Leon kind of feels like Calgary, where you've got the low mountains in the distance. Yeah. And it's very flat. There are lots of outlet malls there, but don't expect a deal. And not many people were buying.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
we're heading I did find a beautiful dress, 70% off. I love it. It's a little dressier. It's something that I needed because lots of my stuff is sleeveless and strappy. So this one is a little fancier. And
you can absolutely feel that something is going on. And you can't put your finger on it. Back in 2008, 2009, there was stuff going on here, and I'd never realized it. I'm watching the world crumble in slow motion missed all of the signs. And the signs were all of a sudden all these for rents in all of these commercial spaces. Also, the signs, the big billboards started to crumble and you'd see like flapping in the wind and stuff. From all of a sudden, you went from all brand new signs to all tattered signs in the wind. And I missed that for about a year. And then when I noticed everything, it was like, oh my gosh, I've watched all of the signs. And right now we are seeing signs that stuff is going on right now. We were in these outlet malls, so many people, very little bags in people's hands.
Yeah.
Very, very few bags. So you've got all these workers, like Skechers had maybe 20, 30 employees.
That was insane how many people.
And nobody buying anything
Yeah.
because a cheap pair of Skechers there, a minimum 1,000, 1,100 pesos. And that's a cheap discount.
Where John gets them way cheaper
Yeah.
at Costco or on Amazon. You know, and we're not big Amazon fans just because of what they are doing, but we are big Amazon fans because of their buying power. Let's be honest. I mean,
their La Comer had like 4 or 5 self-service tills there, which they're getting rid of employees.
Good morning, Leanne. They had a pretty La Comer.
They did.
It was
very big.
Very similar to the one that we have here in Bucerias, bigger and a little, it was definitely more high-end. And did we tell them that story? We're going for a little walk one morning by ourselves, just the two of us, right? So we go over to this little market because I was hoping to find fresh peas because we did a turkey dinner with Glenn and Tanya. So I was hoping to find fresh peas and I couldn't find fresh peas. So we're walking around and I see this tunnel and I said, John, let's just go take that tunnel. He says, but I can't figure out where it takes us.
Google Maps.
He's looking on the map and he wasn't getting a signal. And I'm like, well, what's the worst that can happen? We can if we can turn around or we can grab a cab or whatever and get back to the where we know.
Because it's all tunnels there. Under all the mountains, because you've got all the hills. They drive through their streets.
And there's so many one-ways and so many pedestrian only in Centro that they have all these tunnels underneath the town so you can get across and do all that.
To give you an idea of how long this tunnel was, at 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, it takes a minute to drive through. It seemed to keep going when we were walking.
So we walked this tunnel. We get to the top and we're like, oh, where are we? There's a little school to the right. So we're looking around. Then we see the La Comer. That La Comer is on the outskirts of Guanajuato. It was a 20-minute walk to Centro from the La Comer and a 10-minute drive or something. So we opted for a taxi, 60 pesos.
So back to La Comer, you were going to say the story there. So I thought it was funny because we said there's got to be the La Comer. We're in the mall. And I asked an employee, like, where's the La Comer? And he says, it's
right there. Like literally there.
It was at the end of the hallway of where we were. It was so funny where the town is all on levels.
Yeah, and even the mall was on levels. Like there's partial levels. There was a huge Waldo. If anybody knows what a Waldo is, huge. It's like a dollar store, I guess, but a little
it's more than
different.
A dollar store, yeah. It's more than a
they've got it's like a really low-end department store, actually, is what I'd call it. Because they had clothes and they didn't have furniture. But hi, Jolene. Good morning.
So we told you about the outlet mall. There's no real deals to be had there. No. Although Christie did find a dress. But how many stores did you go through to find that?
Every freaking store. And I was trying to find
3 or 4 outlet malls. Yeah. Massive, side by side.
One was all shoes. And I wanted to find my granddaughters some shoes because their feet are growing. Hey, Gaddy. No, that's not Gaddy. That's a different Carlos de Leon. Well, good morning. Were tunnels not old silver mine tunnels? No, actually they weren't. Were not. They were
made for drainage.
Yes,
because in this town it used to flood, so they made all these drainage tunnels, eventually converting them into roads when vehicles happened. So it's a beautiful, stunning place. So you're in the mountain going down. You've got inlets and outlets. Like it's just crazy, all of the traffic in the mountain. So, and it's all of these different tunnels all around the area. There's not just one. And it all goes underneath the city as well. So if you're above ground and you want to take the long way, you would take the roads. If you want to go fast, you just pop underground, do the tunnels, but you have to know where you're going.
Muchas gracias, Carlos. So Carlos sent a scripture verse in Romans. Mm-hmm. Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Dios te bendiga, right? That's how it
Dios
is.
te bendiga. Yep. So we had such an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing visit there. We did a lot of stuff, lots of steps. Christie's knees, not as young as they used to be.
Well, you guys know I twisted my knee, and the hills were not kind to them.
But you need a TENS machine. If you don't have a TENS machine and you've got pain, muscular
Oh
pain,
my
etc.,
gosh.
get a TENS
That
machine.
was 100% my lifesaver because we'd get home, I'd switch into my pajama bottoms because I could lift the leg up on my pajama bottoms, and I would just sit. We'd be sitting and visiting or eating, and I would just have that TENS machine going. Wake up in the morning and do it again. And morning, Jeff.
They've got all kinds of price points at restaurants, from the inexpensive, beautiful, wonderful taco places, even restaurants that serve tacos.
Oh
They also have
gosh,
street
yeah.
tacos, etc., all the way to fine dining. And the fine dining, I think, is considerably less than here, even
Well, you think
for the
of
most part.
that molcajete that we got. It was huge and delicious, and their tortillas.
Right in front of the big cathedral. The
Yes.
picture that you know of Guanajuato, the red and yellow church, it's directly
Well,
in front
John
of
took
there.
a picture of me standing in front of that church. It was right in front of the restaurant. Um, good morning, Marie. So yeah, no, that was very good. And their corn tortillas, that's what I was gonna say. They are, here they're very bland. The mass produced ones. In Guadalajara or in Guanajuato, the same mass produced tortillas are more. I cannot speak.
But Chef Enrique,
Way more flavorful, way more corn taste. Oh, they were delicious.
Chef Enrique, I can't remember his last name. The guy who owns Pujol. He said there's 50 some commercially available types of corn in Mexico. And they all have different flavors, profiles, etc. And they make different types of tortillas. You also need lime. So when you're soaking it, it heats the water up, and it also converts the corn flavor, softens it, mushes it, and you can even
It would
have
help break it down, the
you have
acid in the
a
lime.
different tortilla depending
Yeah.
on the amount of lime, etc. It's fascinating. The food here, the food in Mexico is an international sensation. Their tequila is fantastic and appreciated around the world. Unfortunately, like everywhere else, all of the good stuff goes everywhere else around the world and doesn't stay here,
Yeah.
which sucks because the Mexican people, a lot of them can't have their own good stuff because it's all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, if you're getting paid in US dollars or pesos, you want the dollars.
Telcel really wants me to send them my Constancia. That's what all those messages are.
For what?
Because the new laws. So by the end of this year, we need to have all that. I thought I did with Telcel already. I did it with Telmex.
Mexico is changing.
Yeah.
I always say, great country to live, terrible country to do business in. It is horrible.
It's
And they
difficult.
They
It's difficult.
keep changing the rules to make it more and more and
Yeah.
more difficult. Like this current guy who is the president is a commie. He is a hands down commie. The poor Mexicans love him. The other Mexicans, not so much, because he keeps making it tougher. So they keep jacking the services up, which kind of matches the out of the country services, but the costs are so much higher. Like our taxes and everything keep going up, but our roads don't change.
Yeah. I felt so sorry for that taxi driver on the way home from the
He
airport
had
yesterday.
a low Versa,
He had a little. No, it was a Kia. That was a Kia. That was a
Okay.
great little car, but really low to the ground.
and there was one spot where we went over, and it was like, and I mean, I felt bad for the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look what happened to Zach and Churita's car.
Yeah.
Like they went over like one of those things that stick out of the ground, a manhole cover.
Well, the drain pipe or whatever, right? And that with the cement, you know how we have them here. She was driving and hit it and did some damage. We still don't know to what extent. They haven't been able to drive their car.
But it's crazy because you've got the road, which is made of dirt, dissolves, but those metal things stay there. So you've got all of these high spots and low spot, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, and we have a couple of really big ones in our neighborhood. And even with the truck, I've scraped on it once. So
Leslie says, sounds just like Canada. Unfortunately, it is like Canada. But here, you don't have... they're charging the rates to match North America, but they don't match the services with what you
Well,
get in
not
North
only
America.
that, there's a lot.
And we are in North America technically.
Right,
You'll
and-
hear Mexicans say that too.
There's a lot more cash only businesses.
Yeah.
Where in Canada, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Well, almost impossible.
Well, real estate, they've made it where you can't do any cash over like $20,000 or $30,000.
Which is good.
It
should
good.
be that way.
Well, but is it? I mean, it just bugs me that the banks and all of these little things are just flags. So the police guys don't have to do anything, and you're just voluntarily, oh, I'm breaking the law. So yeah, it is strange. Unless you buy a Hito. If you buy a Hito, it's private. Now, you don't own the property, and that can change at any given time, but
and there's risks. We're working on it right now. We're risks.
If you are a foreigner, there is a risk. If you're a Mexican, it's better protected. Leslie says, I pay cash as much as I can.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to have to do that for everybody. Everybody's got to start paying cash because you cannot give the government what they want. They all need to be fired, guys. We need to reevaluate our government and what we want it to do.
Jolene was saying that they have a friend that lives in Dallas but grew up in Guanajuato.
Yeah. Guanajuato is a beautiful place.
Yeah,
it truly is. They've got a baseball team there, and boy, there's a lot of crowds in that baseball.
Oh gosh,
place.
yeah, we were able to hear some of the cheering one night when we were up there.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I never realized, and you hear baseball, etc. in Mexico is big, but it's big there.
Mm-hmm.
So we told Glenn and Tanya to bring Kimberly to that place,
to the baseball game,
because it's got to be a lot cheaper than elsewhere. But there's big crowds.
But just to experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, she might not be interested or care, but to do it once.
But we know lots of people that love baseball. And baseball is a very interesting sport. I mean, it goes in slow motion, but yeah, it's Christie. So what else can we tell folks about Guanajuato? Prices are very inexpensive in the core. Now, that's changing because even since the 6 or 7 years we've been there was a lot more traditional Mexico businesses, and now there's higher end businesses are creeping in there, which really bugs me.
Well, they're catering to the tourists that go there. And you know what? It was mostly Mexican tourists there. There weren't a lot of foreigners.
I saw somebody spray painted. I posted a picture. It says, "Tourism is terrorism" in Spanish. And there's something to that, something to be said about that. But unfortunately, as foreigners or locals, we love to go to different places. And that is a business in itself, and it transforms the area. I'm always ticked off at the foreigners that are like, let's just keep Bucerias the way it is. Bucerias was the armpit of the bay. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, there was nothing here. So everybody here is from somewhere else, except maybe 25, 50 people.
Jolene's telling me, we leave in 2 weeks. Any last minute shopping, Christy? Oh gosh, Jolene, if only. If only.
Yeah, I do want the metal detector. I really do. So I'm going to get that. But yeah, that's, I think, the only thing I really need. But I will eventually want the underwater thing eventually.
Yeah, but I'd like to get a couple Kindles. I think if we can get them
so
on sale.
Expensive.
There's some for $100.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, we use our phone and our tablet. We can't use those in the pool.
In the pool, though, yeah. That's kind of what I thought we were looking at. So we're going to take a good look at them. There's some on sale right now. So Jolene, if you happen in your travels to see Kindles on sale, let me know. I don't know if you can only buy them on Amazon. I don't know if you can buy them.
Unless you buy a used one off the marketplace off of Facebook. If you're not using marketplace on Facebook, you're missing out.
Yeah.
But you have to stay on top of it. It's not like the old days. Remember the old days? You used to go to a garage sale, pay 10 cents on the dollar. It's like, holy crap. People are like, I'm using this as my side hustle, and I'm going to charge as much as retail. And they do. And it still sells because people are stupid. There's so much money floating around. Thank you, governments of the world, giving money away. And it's causing prices to continue to go up. So it's dumb. It is so dumb that people can't understand. Back in the 70s and 80s, what was the guy's? Oh my gosh, The Economist. I forget his name. Milton Friedman. This is why I keep my wife around. She remembers Milton Friedman.
So why do I keep you around?
I don't know. If you want to see a brilliant economist, award-winning, amazing economist, Milton Friedman it's Milton Friedman, on YouTube. Watch his videos, and he talks about this. He talks about inflation. 100% is the government. The government tries to say, oh, it's the oil companies, it's the unions, it's the businesses. 100% it's the government. As they print more money, that money's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. So Karen has a good question. She's asking what a good tip is in Mexico because she's coming soon, aren't you?
That's a great question.
It is a good question because I keep John around because he's a 10.
Thanks.
No, he acts
Larry,
like he's 10,
I appreciate it.
He acts like he's 10. So in this area, it is standard to tip between 15 and 20%.
Well,
20% is a generous tip, and that's if, everybody...
But a tip is something, it is not mandatory. If you've got terrible service, I still know people will be like, oh, we still have to give the 10 or 15%. It's like, if it's terrible service, for God's sakes, don't do that, because how the hell are they going to get better and know that they're doing something wrong? At the same time, culturally, you've got locals, which don't tip a lot. You've got Americans, which tip too much. And they will say, oh, you're an American.
Like, I think Canadians usually tip worse than locals do.
Yeah.
Cheap people.
Actually, there's a joke in Spanish here that says, what's the difference between a Canadian and a canoe? Well, canoes will tip. Think about that.
So, yeah, I would have to say, we go to places that we know our service is going to be good. People know us, so our service tends to be good. And we'll tip. If it's good, we'll give them 20%. If it's not good, it depends on how not good it is. We have tipped as low as 10. I don't think we've done anything really lower because
we should.
I have a hard time with that because even if the service is bad, the chef still did his work. It's not his fault that the server got it to us and it took too long or whatever. So I have a hard time with just flat out saying the service was bad, so I don't want to tip because
but you're also
the bartender is getting tipped.
You assume that. Because when I was a waiter, our tip out was maybe 10% of what we made.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that means that they get the vast majority. And I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works here. We should ask some of our restaurant friends. See how that tipping does work.
Yeah, because if you're getting $15 an hour because the government got involved, I don't think anybody deserves a tip anymore.
They're definitely not getting $15 an hour.
No, not here. But in the States, like places like Arizona, which used to be good, now, you've got all these fake elections, etc., which people are winning and shouldn't be. And they're just changing the world and making it worse and worse and worse. Mm-hmm. There are Americans that hate America and are trying to destroy it. Yeah. You've got it in Canada as well. Guys, there's a reason why people risk their lives to go to these countries, and they're destroying it. It's horrible. Absolutely disgusting. And if they do anything against the Constitution, against their republic, they need to be in jail or kicked out sent to another country. Send them somewhere else.
So on a much more fun note, when we were in Guanajuato, I found this little shop. Actually, Tanya uses it. She buys soaps, and that's what she had given us, a little basket of soaps to put in for our shower and stuff. But this lady had some cream that's supposed to act like Botox. And there's some for your eyelids. There's some for your face. There's some for your... So I bought it.
It's got uranium. It's got to be good. It's natural.
So I'm not a face cream person. So I'll see how long I do this. But I think if I I started seeing results right away on my eyelids because I bought that a few days ago and have been using it. Because I have baggy eyelids. And it's either that or get an eye lift. And I don't want to have surgery.
Yeah. Huh.
So I'll see if it works. On that note, now that I'm going to leave it in a little bit. Now you guys can start watching my wrinkles and see if they get better or not. And my bags under my eye. Well, the bags under my eyes, that's only going to help if I actually get some sleep.
Yeah, I woke up at 3:30 again, and then went back to bed at 7:30, and then up at 8:30. Figure that out.
I think you were sleeping before 7:30 because I fell back asleep too. Like I woke up.
I know.
And fell back asleep, and my hip was the leg where my knee hurts. That hip obviously hurts a little bit too.
If you guys know how to sleep better, let us know.
John's having some real issues. Mine was just because I had to roll over and then I had to clean the bathroom and But John's been having some big problems sleeping, and he doesn't want to take a bunch of drugs.
Yeah. Well, I remember who else had problems with that. Bo. If any of you remember Bo was a character.
Right? He had some big sleep problems.
He did.
Yours aren't as bad as his.
No,
but that's going through your head now, isn't it?
What? No.
You.
No.
So, Tiff, good morning.
Hello.
And Jolene is reminding me that it is Marie Volk's birthday today. So, Ree, you're not watching as far as I can tell. You haven't said good morning. I know you've had some busy stuff going on right now. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right. On that note, you guys, we do have to get to the office. We will talk to you all, maybe not tomorrow, because we might have to do the Ahito thing. So, but yeah.